Sky Diary Productions and Velvet Petal Press present Vexed by Vodka, Bohemia Bartenders Mysteries, Book 3, by Lucy Lakestone, read by the author. But, my dear Pepper, who wants to talk business when I can talk to you about other things? I gulped while Mr. Mixie cleared his throat. Hi, we met at Cocktalia? Mark turned toward Steph and Mr. Mixie solely. Oh, yes, and I've seen your cocktail videos, though there haven't been as many lately, have there? Mr. Mixie puffed up again, smiling. I'm doing less stuff online now that we're filming a TV show. It premieres this fall, but we're going to screen a rough cut of the debut here at the film festival. Well done, mate. They shook hands. Ugh, I didn't want to hear any more about how awesome Mr. Mixie's career was. Now that Mark was in the room, my ex had all the charm of a buzzing mosquito. Listen, Stefan, why don't you go on and check into the hotel and we can talk later, I told him. But we will talk later. Mr. Mixie looked from me to Mark and back again and deflated. So that's not a no, right? You'll be there tonight? I sighed. The Bohemia Bartenders are making drinks for the opening party. We'll be there. All right. Mr. Mixie nodded at Mark and headed out the door. Before it shut, I could hear him arguing with the TV crew. Mark waited until the door closed, then leaned his crossed arms on the bar and spoke in a low rumble that shot right to my lady parts. Are you setting up a rendezvous with the bearded one? Dionysus forbid, I exclaimed. I'm very glad to hear that. You haven't forgotten that I've invited you to tour my wine cellar. A little bubble of nervous laughter escaped me. You haven't brought your wine cellar to Bohemia, have you? He chuckled. No, but since I've purchased a flat in Bohemia Beach for my jaunts across the pond, I've already started building a little collection. You bought a place here? I found myself leaning toward him, and I was vaguely conscious of Jorge shaking his head and heading back to the office. Bohemia Beach was just across the Causeway Bridge from Bohemia, and I lived there, too, in a modest duplex, basically a house split in two, with my Aunt Celestine in the other half. We shared a pool and a goofy cavapoo who owned both of us, Astra. It has a very nice bar and a view of the sea, Mark said. I'd love to make you a cocktail. He emphasized the first syllable with a boyish mischief that in anyone else I would have found ridiculous. He did have a penchant for bad double entendres, but I was so busy drooling over him I didn't generally care. Besides, I have something to ask you. Electricity shot through me, kind of like that time I touched my vintage toaster after its electric cord failed. That was a bad hair day. You do? And then the door opened again, and another man strode in. Neil, or as previously mentioned, guy number 3. Neil Rockaway was the lead Bohemia bartender, and he owned and ran his own bar downtown by the tracks, the Junction Box. I was immediately struck by the shaken look he wore behind his trim chestnut beard. I'd come to expect calm, cool action from Neil. A little too cool, maybe, given our brushes with heat, which hadn't amounted to much except a couple of near misses and a few kisses that he was quick to forget, even though I remembered every microsecond of them. He looked like he'd just come from his bar, given his dark jeans, a white button-up shirt with rolled-up sleeves, and a retro vest and bow tie. So that was weird, too, since we agreed we'd work our lunch shifts before getting together for the final preparations for tonight. The spell Mark had woven was broken. I stood up straight. Neil, are you okay? Neil vaguely took in Mark with a puzzled expression and a nod, then turned to me. The police called my father, and my father called me. They want me to go identify a body that washed up on the beach this morning. He took a deep breath. They think it might be my grandfather. This ends the sample of Vexed by Vodka. by Lucy Lakestone, read by the author. For more information, please visit lucylakestone.com.